ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Srikanth coming to you from India's startup capital, Bengaluru, and we have a special edition of Startup Central lined up for you over the next 20 minutes because we have collated 19 key trends to watch out for in 2019, and this is coming from 19 big names from the world of startups, investing and entrepreneurship. We've been putting this together over the last few days, and this is really to give us an idea of what to expect in terms of trends, in terms of sectors, in terms of investments as far as 2019 is concerned. 2018, of course, was a watershed year for startups. So many unicorns getting created, the biggest e-commerce deal getting signed, but also a bittersweet year because it saw the exit of Sachin Bansal and Binny Bansal, poster boys as far as the Indian startup ecosystem is concerned. So let's take it away for this special show, and the influencer number one that we will show on the screen for you is Amitabh Kant, the CEO of Niti Aayog. Let's look at what Amitabh Kant's prediction is as far as 2019 is concerned. His big picture trend is vernacular tech and AI-focused solutions. Now, Kant says that with more than 15 unicorns and several sonicorns in the pipeline, the Indian startups ecosystem has come of age. 2019 will see continued ascendancy of Indian startups, especially in hyperlocal delivery, fintech, e-commerce and vernacular tech solutions. Technology-led interventions, especially AI-focused solutions in areas of societal benefits, will push the innovation frontier. He also says 2019 will be a year when we will see several Indian startups expanding their global footprint. So that was the first trend right there. Amitabh Kant talking about how vernacular tech will take off and also how AI-focused solutions will take off in a big way. Let's turn focus to influencer number two, and he of course is a big name as far as the Indian startup ecosystem is concerned. The first ever startup to get an investment from Warren Buffett, no less. We are of course talking about Vijay Shekhar Sharma, the founder and CEO of Paytm. Now, what is Vijay Shekhar Sharma's big 2019 trend? He says 2019 will be a year of saving money. Why does he think that is? He says this will be the year of saving money. Companies spending a ton of money on customer acquisition or marketing will go sober. He also says everyone will aim to protect cash. There may be a series of mergers too this year. Now, of course, wanted more clarity from Vijay on what he meant by mergers. Will it be in e-commerce? Will it be in fintech? He broadly said it will be across the board with cash-rich companies perhaps merging with cash-starved ones. But he certainly means that this is not going to be a year of crazy capital raising. People will look to conserve cash. Now let's take it to the third person, and this is also a big voice. The big man at Flipkart, Kalyan Krishnamurthy, the CEO of Flipkart. That's our influencer number three. And Kalyan's big picture trend for 2019 is all about making e-commerce inclusive. Now, Kalyan says that for us, the theme for e-commerce in 2019 will remain inclusion, which basically means bringing more Indians online, improving the customer experience and connecting more sellers from smaller cities and towns with millions of shoppers. Now, some of the underpenetrated categories, including groceries and furniture, will drive opportunities and inclusion of newer customers. Now, Kalyan also says that we will continue to focus on data-backed decision-making and invest heavily in autonomous, scalable and cost-effective supply chain that delivers the best-in-class fulfillment experience to customers. Now, if you look at Kalyan's trend, it's somewhat similar to what he said last year. Even last year, he was very bullish as far as tech and AI is concerned, and I think he continues with that. But as he's been telling us in recent interviews, groceries and furniture is going to be the next big area of focus for Flipkart. Remember, with Walmart as a significant investor, groceries is a natural extension. But will the government rules as far as FDI and e-commerce are concerned, will that play spoil sport? That's something that we have to wait and watch out for. Influencer number 4 then, this is of course a big name, not just in the world of startups and entrepreneurship, but in India Inc. as well. We're talking about Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, the CMD of Biocon. Now, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, big trend for 2019 is genomic diagnostics. So she says that stem cells and autologous cell therapies, wearable digital diagnostics, wearable digital drug delivery pumps and patches synced to smartphones. So not surprising really that Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw is betting big as far as health tech is concerned. At least that's the big takeaway if you look at stem cells and autologous cell therapies and digital diagnostics synced to smartphones. So that's Kiran's take as far as 2019 is concerned. With that, we move over to influencer number 5 on the list, and that's Chris Gopalakrishnan, the chairman of Agritech Ventures. Now, his 2019 trend is AI, ML and deep tech startups. So, Chris Gopalakrishnan says that AI, ML, which is basically artificial intelligence and machine learning, will continue to be the dominant technology that will drive innovation, disrupting every industry. He says India is in a unique position to drive this since we have felt need to use this technology to provide mobile access to services at affordable prices. We need to guard against driving prices too low such that only startups with deep pockets survive and not the best innovation or technology. We need to support deep tech startups with patient funding since these will take longer to get market and customer validation. So that's the key trend as far as Chris Gopalakrishnan is concerned. Remember, Agritech Ventures has been funding a lot of startups in deep tech. So that's the big trend as far as Chris Gopalakrishnan is concerned. He specifically stressed as far as deep tech is concerned. Okay. Now, influencer number 6, and that is Ritesh Agarwal. He says that 2019 trend is going to be heightened synergies between hospitality sector and IoT. He says we foresee IoT changing the way hotels operate, deliver an exceptional guest experience, become smarter and more efficient. Customer experience has the potential to be exponentially upgraded by technologies such as IoT, AI, ML and NFC mobile payment, which will help create new personalized moments. Tech can enable large brands like ours to interact with their customers in a personalized way. Now remember, 2018 was a very important year for Ritesh Agarwal. They of course announced their big foray into China. They also became a unicorn. And if you look at recent news flow from Oyo, he's been bulking up the top management team, hiring a lot of professionals across the board. So I guess 2019 is going to be a key year to watch out for as far as Ritesh Agarwal and Oyo is concerned. With that, we move to influencer number 7 on the list. And, she's one of the top investors in the startup ecosystem. We're talking about Vani Kola from Kalari Capital. And her 2019 trend is Hindustan Hamara business models. Basically, she says that while about 4% of the country's GDP was derived from digital products last year, it is estimated that within the next 4 years, nearly 60% of India's GDP will have a strong connection to digital transformation trends. With inclusive digital growth, we expect startups to embrace India's diversity and solve for uniquely India problems that can scale rapidly. She also says that global innovation activity and the Indian startup ecosystem boost my optimism for 2019. So that's Vani's take, and everybody is talking about how Bharat or the India 2 is really going to take off this year. If you look at some of the Chinese apps, they've gone big in the hinterland. If you look at apps like TikTok, apps from ByteDance, and I guess Vani, even her trend seems to suggest that we are going to see a lot of Hindustan Hamara business models. Now, the person on number 8, influencer number 8, is Deep Kalra, who's the group CEO of Make My Trip, one of the earliest and most successful internet entrepreneurs who's also managed to take his company public in the US. Now, Deep Kalra's trend for 2019 is personalization of B2C That basically means he expects B2C to become more personalized on the back of AI, ML, and personalization of B2C online companies basis real-time processing of digital footprints to get more relevant this year. It's interesting to note that this is something that he flagged off last year as well on this show, and this year also he expects this to happen significantly, the personalization as far as AI ML is concerned. We move on to the next trend, and that's coming in from another entrepreneur, Naveen Tiwari, the CEO of InMobi. His 2019 trend is a unified view of the customer. What does he mean by that? He says that in our connected world, a unified view of the customer is going to take precedence over everything else. Customer journeys are going to be contingent on personalization and contextualization. Hence, all trends will eventually have to culminate towards this trajectory to enable a seamless customer experience. So that's Naveen Tiwari's take. If you look at Naveen Tiwari and Deep Kalra, it looks somewhat similar in terms of the role that technology like AI and ML will play in bringing more customers, in giving customers a more personalized experience, and it's something that Ritesh Agarwal also seemed to suggest. We move over to the 10th trend on this show this evening, and that's coming from another investor. This time it's Meena Ganesh, the CEO and MD of Portia, and her trend for 2019 is the mobile first opportunity. So she says smartphone and mobile internet with very low costs, one of the lowest bandwidth rates, had given rise to a mobile first consumer behavior, be it for news, entertainment, messaging, or information dissemination. This will throw up opportunities to reach the next 300 million rural vernacular non-English population directly through mobile video content. This will give rise to companies that will capitalize on the opportunity through content and commerce across multiple factors: health, education, entertainment, agri, food, and nutrition. So that's the trend coming in from Meena Ganesh. Important points there on smartphone and the mobile first opportunity. She's the 10th influencer as far as the show is concerned. Time to go on then to the 11th influencer. And whom do we have next? We have another entrepreneur whose startup turned unicorn in 2018. We're talking about Byju's. That's really blazed a trail as far as the Edtech space is concerned. A lot of factors really sets apart Byju's. One, the fact that they still have a very high level of promoter or ownership as far as the company is concerned. The second factor being that they are headed towards profitability, and the third being that they are looking to expand overseas. They do not have rivals with deep pockets like some of the other players. So Byju Ravindran's trend for 2019 is tech-enabled learning. 2019 will see deeper penetration and acceptance of the idea of learning channels and involvement of parents to create a more holistic and engaging learning system for their children, with high-quality teachers and curriculum now more accessible than ever through smartphones. Self-learning will become a critical part of a child's overall learning ecosystem, allowing them the environment to learn at their own pace and style. So that was an interesting trend from Byju's. Of course, it will be beneficial to his company if there's more tech-enabled learning. But with so much of concern about exposure to technology, will parents continue to leave their kids at the mercy of tech-enabled learning? Will that really help, or are we going to see a reversal to the classroom model? That's something that we have to wait and see. But Byju at least seems positive for now. That brings us then to the next person on the list, and that is another entrepreneur, Hari Menon of Big Basket, one of the pioneers as far as grocery e-tailing is concerned. And his big trend for 2019 has nothing to do with e-commerce or grocery. It actually has to do with e-vehicles, because Hari Menon believes that e-vehicles will be a big trend to watch out for in 2019. It's been receiving a lot of government support. In fact, his exact quote is that he sees many young companies building EVs for various purposes like garbage collection vans, autos, delivery vehicles for e-com companies, share cars and bikes, and of course passenger vehicles. So that is Hari Menon's big prediction for 2019. He also says the government is pushing this very hard through subsidies. More importantly, EVs are very cost effective. So and that's Hari Menon's take as far as this is concerned. He expects EV to make a big impact as far as 2019 is concerned. And interesting really that he picked out e-vehicles and not something in the grocery space. In fact, it will be interesting to see what the new FDI norms will mean for him as well, if it will hit his business very hard come the new year. From Hari Menon to another person who actually knows Hari Menon quite well, we are talking about K. Ganesh, the founder of Growth Story. He is one of the earliest investors in Big Basket. Some of his other investments, of course, include the likes of Grow Fit and Fresh Menu. So really sectors across the board as far as K. Ganesh is concerned, who himself is a serial entrepreneur. Now, what is K. Ganesh's trend for 2019? That also has a lot to do with mobility solutions. Hari Menon and K. Ganesh, I guess, concurring on that one. So K. Ganesh's big trend for 2019 is about how after Ola and Uber put hundreds of thousands of cabs on the road, scooter companies like Vogo and Metro, bike companies like Yulu will put hundreds of thousands of scooters and bikes. We will also see a lot of interesting breakthroughs and startups in electric scooter or the bike space. Finally, we will see innovations in mobility products like smart helmets and innovative safety products. That's really interesting because in the last year we have seen a lot of companies take off as far as the two-wheeler bike space is concerned, and K. Ganesh really expecting companies to build on that. So I guess apart from Ola and Uber, people will also begin to rely on two-wheelers in terms of the aggregation space. So that's the big trend idea coming from K. Ganesh. Moving over to the next person on the list, and the influencer number 14 as far as this special edition is concerned is Tarun Davda, managing partner at Matrix India, a very influential VC fund. Some of their key companies or investments in the unicorn space include the likes of Ola as well as Quicker, and they recently raised 100 million in their latest fund. Now, Tarun's big picture idea is about more experienced founders. So his take is that after 2018, he says 2018 brought a big shift in the archetype of a typical Indian founder. While early successes were built by young founders, with the maturation of the ecosystem, we are now seeing more experienced founders who have been around the block and seen closely what it takes to build and scale a technology startup. He says that he expects this trend will continue to play out in 2019 and beyond, and he says the next generation of founders will have a good mix of first time as well as experienced founders. So that's an interesting take coming in from Tarun Davda, not to do with any investment or any particular company, but in terms of the nature of founders themselves. And we have already seen this happening. There are examples. You have a Kunal Shah who founded, sold and exited Freecharge, founding yet another company in the last year, Cred. And you also have others similarly starting out in second ventures. So I guess this is a trend that we will see happening in the next year. Moving over to the next influencer on the list, and that of course is Sari Chahal, the founder of Sheroes, a platform that really brings together women entrepreneurs, women professionals, and no surprises on what her trend for 2019 is going to be. It has to do with more women coming online. So her trend is that, while with more and more people expected to come online in the hundreds of millions, the next shift is going to be driven by women in a big way. In fact, she says that women will play a huge role in creating safe communities online, and she also says that women internet users will leverage their space to upskill, connect, get recognition and support each other. She also says we'll see internet behavior redefined to be inclusive, constructive, and this will ensure employability and equality. So that's Sari's big picture take for 2019 in terms of more and more women coming online and creating their space on the internet. But of course, for this to happen, we have to expect the likes of Twitter and Facebook, to create more safe spaces for women online, because today there's a lot of trolling, a lot of abusive behavior. So how are platforms going to look after that? There are, of course, also privacy concerns. So those are some of the challenges that they'll have to tackle before more and more women come online. With that, we move over to the next person on the list, and this is Sudhir Sethi of Chirate Ventures, and his big picture trend is about more and more brands from India going global. Now, interestingly, Sudhir Sethi's firm IDG had rebranded to Chirate in the last year with a focus to creating more India-focused brands, and they already have many on that list, the likes of CureFit, Lenskart. So no surprises why Sudhir Sethi is very bullish on this idea. So if you look at his trend, he believes that India is about new brands scaling rapidly, not only domestically but also globally. In the next few years, don't be surprised if over 100 new tech-enabled Indian brands emerge in all categories. Examples being Lenskart, Zivame, First Cry, Popsco, Policy Bazaar and CureFit, among others. So that's the big picture trend as far as Sudhir Sethi is concerned. With that, we move over to the next person on the list, another woman investor. We are actually pleased we got at least 5-6 trends from key women influencers in the ecosystem, and the next one plays a very important role. We're talking about Padmaja Ruparel, the co-founder of Indian Angel Network, which plays a critical role as far as the first stage of funding is concerned, the angel funding is concerned. And her big picture trend for 2019 is Agritech. Now, agriculture has, of course, been in the news for all the wrong reasons in the last year, but we're also seeing a lot of agri-tech startups pick up, where they are trying to bring in technology solutions to improve agri productivity, to match farmers with the demand side. And Padmaja believes that the opportunity in agriculture is just humongous for several reasons. It's a sector where there is a need for innovation. It provides a large market in India, and the emerging trend is also related to areas related to agri-tech, so water, irrigation, agri-manufacturing. We should see agri as a top sector attracting investments as far as 2019 is concerned. Now, moving away from that to influencer number 18, actually we should see influencers, because we've got two trends coming from Bloom Ventures, a venture capital fund that invests in early stage startups. And Sanjay Nath and Sajid Pai of Bloom Ventures have given us two important trends. One has to do with China and the other has to do with B2B tech. Now, if you look at China, Sajid and Sanjay believe that as the China economy slows down, there will be renewed interest by Chinese manufacturers in India. A bunch of startups and larger players from China will create platforms and sites to move inventory to India. While SaaS forms the bread and butter of B2B, this has evolved beyond. The biggest beneficiaries of deep tech or hard tech will be brick and mortar or old economy businesses. And with that, we come to the last trend on the show. This is coming from Kunal Shah, the founder of Cred. As I mentioned, he's one of the few entrepreneurs who's managed to build a startup, scale it up, exit and start again. Remember, he founded and sold Freecharge to Snapdeal. He's now started Cred. His big picture idea for 2019 has to do with lending. He says that lending will become an essential feature of many platforms with consumer presence. So those that have already built up significant size of businesses with consumers, the next logical step that they will move to is lending. And we're already seeing this happening in some measure. A lot of people talking about how credit is going to be the next big thing after the first phase of fintech that had to do with cashbacks and customer acquisition. We of course have to wait and see how this will go up, how they will track the quality of lending as far as this is concerned. With that, we come to the end of this special edition of Eating Out Startup Central. 19 key trends over the last 19-20 minutes from 19 of the biggest voices in the startup ecosystem, whether it's policymakers, entrepreneurs, CEOs, investors. We had them covered and a range of trends, but I think the key ones to look out to is the Bharat model. more startups building for India beyond the metros, and of course the role that artificial intelligence and machine learning is going to play in personalizing services to consumers. Let's see then if 2019 can match the pace of unicorn creation in 2018. But with that, we come to the end of this special show. Thanks so much for watching.